Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. Then K.L.P in the morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mike, what time is it, man? What time is it?
It's swanky time with that new K.L.P.
Yes, it is. Welcome. I'll be your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas, but we'll get to that in a minute. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the K.L.P in the morning. We got that new Don Toliver, y'all. Hey.
This beat is dope.
Ooh, you want this beat, right?
Hey.
You're tuned in to new K.L.P.
Shout out to all the podcasters out there. Shout out to iHeartRadio. Couldn't do it without y'all. Hey. Audio version podcast only. Deep in the water. Don Toliver. Hey. We got our coffee here in the morning. It's Monday. St. Patty's Day was yesterday, but we'll get to that. Hey. Come on now. Hey.
This beat is dope.
Ooh, you want this beat, right?
Y'all, I love this song. This song is a banger. It is. Shout out to all the podcasters. Shout out to the people here in Atlanta. Always shouting out to the people in Atlanta. Hey, little vibe for y'all. Water, I can see. Hey. You and me.
This beat is dope.
You want this beat, right?
Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the podcast, as you will. K.L.P in the morning radio show here today. Welcome back to the podcast. Again, this is the K.L.P in the morning radio show. I'm your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas, your gracious, humbled, and highly favored, blessed, grateful, healthy, spiritual podcast host here today. Hopefully you guys are ready for another exciting week. Shout out to all the people. If you had a great weekend, for sure. I always like to hear about these great weekends. Like I say, I think I said this on Thursday, either Thursday or Friday's podcast. And I was looking forward to the podcasting because, I was able to go to the gym. Really enjoyed the gym time. I went with my brother, as always. We both are some health nuts, and I had a great weekend. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. The weather was very, very nice, by the way. Had a lot of great sunshining day, of course. Shout out to just the area of Atlanta, especially in Gwinnett County. I went to the gym yesterday. Ended up going to the grocery store. I called my mama, checked in on her because she had a business trip out there making some money moves. So shout out to my mama. And then, the car wash that I go to, they offered a free car wash special on Saturday. So that was very, very nice to get my car refreshed and washed and detailed out for free. So you can't go wrong with free. So yeah, I had a very grand weekend. Hopefully everybody else had a great weekend. Then I had a little bit of work to do on Sunday yesterday. So, business as usual. But yeah, it was a great weekend. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend out there. Hopefully everyone is staying spiritual. Hopefully everyone is staying positive energy. And I had to remember to stay positive energy. Now, this is a show where I like to, when it's the audio version, there's no cameras, there's no lights. Here in the studio, we like to tell stories, right? That's one thing that I like to do is I like to go in, I like to tell a great story. I try to make sure that I give me some great energy. And I meant to talk about this on the previous podcast, but I didn't have a chance to talk about it on the previous podcast, but I was talking to my brother about this thing that happened to me. I want to say it was Wednesday when I went out to the gym, and I had a great time at the gym. I was getting in at the gym, but one thing that really sparked me up was when people tell me I'm doing something wrong. I hate that with a passion. I know I probably said that so many times on the podcast and radio shows before, but that's one of the things that I really despise is when people coming up to me and when I'm jamming out to my music. And if anybody who follows me at the gym, and shout out to all the people who's been watching my videos over there at the gym too. I've been posting some videos on my social medias, and I started to post a challenge on my LinkedIn, and people responded really well to that. When it comes down to it, what I posted on my LinkedIn was, it's a challenge to us because, honestly, LinkedIn is for, the people who like to, who work, right? That's what LinkedIn is for. It's for professionals, right? But I wanted to change that. Not into a weird way. I know LinkedIn is not a dating type of app, and I pray to God it never turns to that. But, money is money, and, people will pay money for that kind of stuff. But LinkedIn, I know it's not for meeting somebody and hooking up with somebody. Obviously, they have dating apps for that. But I wanted to post one of my workout videos for LinkedIn because I wanted to remind everybody, all the professionals out there, to when you're outside the office, your regular 9 to 5, whatever that is, make sure that you have the chance to go out and stretch your body. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean, make sure you go out there and take care of your health, your physical physique, if you will. Right? So that was a challenge that I posted on my LinkedIn that say, hey, go out there, go work out. You would be surprised at how much stress reliever and anxiety will be relieved when you go to the gym. Now, I'm not an advocate for gym fitness, even though I like to call myself a fitness coach. There's a lot of people that deserve that title. And I know this is not a sponsor for Crunch Snellville whatsoever, but it's always important to keep up with your physical health, right? Because we all get it. It's early Monday morning for us here in the studio. We're up early. We got coffee in the studio. We ready to work, right? We have typically here at K.L.P Entertainment, we have long work weeks. We do. But I always encourage everybody to go out there and make sure that you take care not only to your mental health, but your physical health as well, right? So that's what I posted the challenge on LinkedIn and say, hey, go out there and go work out. Stretch your body, stretch your mind, get your mind out of work, focus on your workout, and you feel better at the end of the day. Honestly, for me, it's boxing. I posted it on my LinkedIn. Boxing is the thing for me. When it goes down to it, I want to make sure that I have the right health, the right mindset in mind to make sure that my mind is set, right? One thing I do to decrease the anxiety, and I've been having less of anxiety lately, so which is great, but it's boxing. Right? I picture if there's somebody that I used to not like, I punch that bag, imagining that I'm punching their face, right? I know that sounds horrible, but it works. It works, guys. I really recommend it. It works. And then I do all the other exercises, right? So I got it in, but there's this dude that come up, right? And then this was Wednesday. This was not Saturday. Saturday, I was left alone. Thank God. Because honestly, I like to be left alone when I work out. I do. When I have headphones in, I am blasting music, right? I'm in my zone. I don't like it when people come up here and mess with my zone. I don't. I get very angry about that. So this dude comes up, and this is the second time this happened to me in a while, right? Dude comes up and says, hey. And first of all, he comes up, kind of hostile, kind of bombarded a little bit. It wasn't like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? It was like, hey, bro, what you doing? Very hostile. And I said, working out. I mean, this is a gym, right? And then he said, you're doing this wrong, right? I said, and then this is what I say, guys. I said, no, thank you. I don't need your advice. No, thank you. You can keep it moving. Mind you, I do my workouts correctly. I may not do it as much as the bodybuilders do at the gym, but I have my own sense of style, my own sense of purpose, my own sense of goals that I want to meet with my workout. I tell people this, and I said this on the podcast, my goal when it comes down to working out is to just stay lean and stay healthy. That's my goal. And yes, my workout has been working because yes, my arms, my back, my chest has been packed on with some muscle, right? You can see it in my videos, really, and it's not a harp on, not a boost of my ego for the videos, but yeah, I've gained a lot of muscle. So that's always a nice perk. But my goal is to work out and stay limber, right? When I stay limber, I stay lean. When I stay lean, I'm having better sleep at night, right? When I was a little bit heavier, I was having trouble sleeping. Not because I couldn't breathe, but I was having severe troubling times when sleeping when I was a little bit heavier. Ever since I started working out and exercising my mind and staying limber, my sleeps have been very glorious lately. That's the goal. So I say that to say to a lot of people who go to the gym, if people do not want to be disturbed when it comes down to their workout, please don't disturb them, right? I don't need your advice. If you are not a trainer and you're not a professional fitness trainer, I don't want to hear your advice. This was a big buff dude too. My goal may not be that goal to be that damn big, right? I don't want to be some big old meathead. I want to be me. I have a sense of purpose. I have a sense of reasoning and a sense of a workout plan when it comes down to it. Crunch does this too sometimes, where they try to, and they stop asking me about the Kickstarter fitness training thing. No, I don't want that because it costs money. I pay you guys enough. Love y'all, but I pay y'all enough. Thank God that the Crunch I go to, they stop asking me, but I pay you guys enough. I'm good. Right? So I don't know. I get in my feelings when it comes to that. And some may say, as I drop my phone, some might say that it might be a sense of insecurity for myself. I'm very insecure about that stuff. I am. I'm going to come out on the podcast and say, yes, I'm insecure when I'm doing the workout that I know how to do and I'm doing it at my own pace and someone comes up and say, hey, you're doing this wrong. Yes, I feel very insecure about it. And then I tend to get rude. Because after I said that, he was like, he sucked his teeth like, all right. I'm like, well, bro, I didn't ask you for your advice. So you can't get mad when I tell you to move on, continue with your workout and go on about your business and get mad. No, it's not me trying to be rude. I didn't ask you for your opinion. When I ask you for that said opinion, I will ask you and ask for your help. Until then, you cannot be mad, sir. I mean, am I right or am I right? Right? Because a lot of people do that. I really hate that. And I'm putting everybody on notice. If you go to the Crunch gym with me and you can see me work out, please don't come up to me. You can come up to me and say hi, but please don't tell me I'm doing something wrong because I will, next time that happens, I'm cussing somebody out because I really hate that. That is a pet peeve of mine, right? And then feelings are going to get hurt. And then I got to get disrespectful. I said what I said. So that was that Wednesday. So I wanted to tell you guys about that story because I had to get that out. You know, that was burning my chest a little bit. But this podcast was brought to you by the Swanky Product One. Guys, we have merchandising, we have accessories, we have this new swanky bag accessory on sale right now. It's coming from Italy, so you know it's coming from some great quality. If you guys want to get in your purchase, it's a premium bag, but it's a great quality bag. We got to get up to 7 production kits, 7 production orders to kickstart the production of the bags for it to kick off. So please go to our website, go to the link description below, put in your order for this new swanky accessory bag. Very excited for that. And this podcast was actually also brought to you by the Spectrum Podcast. Guys, go check out the latest Spectrum podcast from yesterday, last night to be precise. One of our colleagues, Connor O'Hara, new voice talent for us here for K.L.P Entertainment. He does an in-depth review of the latest game that came out that we played. We wrote about Final Fantasy Rebirth. Oh my God, I love that game. I love that game. I love the story. I keep watching look, I don't know if I'm weird or not. I might be weird. I am weird. That game is so good. I keep watching the scenes on YouTube because some of the scenes I already passed and watched when I was playing my copy. So I kept going to YouTube to watch the scenes because we had to, I was writing notes for the Spectrum podcast for Connor, but I had to get it in, and I just was rewatching the scenes, and I just love this game. I love the characters. My favorite, look, I ain't even got a favorite, but Tifa and Aerith and Yuffie. I like Yuffie too. Yuffie crazy as hell, but I like the female characters because they write them so well. And then there's a love triangle between Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith. I can't get enough of it. And let me tell you, when Tifa look, I'm not a weird ass, but when Tifa and Aerith, they wear their swimsuit and they were at the beach, boy, you would think I would love video game characters because they got them looking right. But anyway, the game is good. I really recommend you guys please play the game. It's worth it. It's so good. It is so good. Now I wanted to report this news topic here on the show this morning. And this is coming from Podcast News Daily. So this is where I also get our podcast news to talk about. So shout out to them as well. Drivers want more for their dashboard, says survey, as podcasts make inroads in the car. Shout out if you're listening to us in your car right now on the way to drop the kiddos off to school, because hey, spring break is over for some people. I don't know if people started spring break already, but spring break is over. Now, a quarter of the time spent listening to audio in the car goes to on-demand content like podcasts, according to the Edison report. I am guilty of this too, because when I'm driving to the office or to the studio myself, most of the time I'm listening to podcasts. The podcast I'm listening to the most, got to give him a shout out to Joe Budden. I listen to the Joe Budden podcast religiously on my way to work or on my way to the studio, right? Because I get inspired. And that number would potentially climb higher if automakers give consumers what they want. Now, consumer electronics maker DTS has released a new report that shows Americans want more from their dashboards, including personalized and discoverable content. I think this would be very I think a lot of car manufacturers are really looking at these analytics, and they're probably going to change some stuff. You probably won't see much from Apple CarPlay. I wish Apple CarPlay had it to where you can update. It can have an update no matter the type of car you have. For instance, I drive a 2020 Chevy Malibu LT, and I have CarPlay, obviously, but I don't think it's going to be updated. If CarPlay keeps updating it, I don't think I will be eligible for a whole lot of updates, right? Because it's a chip that they got to put into the car, right? I would say, and I say that to say, the newer your car becomes, let's say if you buy a 2024, which I don't recommend anybody getting a brand spanking new car, because cars do depreciate when you take it off the lot. Everybody knows that. But if you go and buy a 2025 car, you might have the latest and greatest CarPlay. And they're adding on the newest features to those type of cars. Now, love my car. I really love my car. But being that my car is a 2020, I may not be eligible to keep updating unless you take, the chip out and upgrade the chip, but that's going to cost a lot of money, right? Now, this report finds that majority, this is 65%, and nearly 80% of those age 44 and under in vehicle entertainment is important. I'm one of those 65%. Along with all my other family members, because I think all of my family members, all of our cars have CarPlay. And it's not a brag, but it's to show that we really stepped up in this world. Shout out to my siblings, because all of our cars have CarPlay. Not online. Audio entertainment is very important. Podcast. This is podcasting for me first, and then there's music. Music, I roll with, I dance, I sing on my way home or on my way to the office. It's amazing. 2/3 of those 25 to 44, and I'm in that because I'm 27. It's important for me. Audio is very important for me nowadays, obviously, because we're doing a podcast. Say they want entertainment to be personalized, to have a highest quality audio and easily discoverable content consistently updated to meet the digital advances and evolving needs. I agree with CarPlays. I wish there was a way every CarPlay can be updated, again, no matter what car, right? Because I do have Wi-Fi in my car, which is nifty. Again, it's not a brag. It's a huge cut, because my old car, I never had none of this, right? I do wish that there's a way we can update CarPlay potentially for free by using the internet. I really do. I think when it comes to highest quality audio, I really think that just depends on your speakers in your car. My car does have great speakers. When I was looking at my car, and this was last year of March, there were 2 Malibus I was looking for. I have an all black Malibu, right? Without getting too personal, but I have an all black Malibu, and then they tried to offer me a all white Malibu and had the Bose speakers, but they wanted way too much for what it was. So I ended up going for the black one, and I like the color of the black one. These findings based on the results survey conducted by Citizens-wide commissioned by DTS. And I have the chart right here. Out of broadcast range radio, 82% people are wanting that. Broad range of content, 81%. Discoverable content, 81%. That people want personalized content, 75%. And enhanced content, 66%. When it comes down to audio quality, that's very, very important. So that's been the latest report when it comes down to drivers wanting more. I do agree. I love my CarPlay. I wish it was a little bit more that we can do. I really do. But I do think to get the nearest and greatest thing and latest thing, it just depends on the type of car, right? If you're getting a 2024 Ford, the manufacturer is working on the latest update. They're working on the latest framework, right? If you got a 2018 that has CarPlay, you may not be able to get the newest thing. Unfortunately, because, I don't want to say that car is old, because that's never what I'm going to say. But you may not be able to get the latest framework unless you take the parts out and put the latest thing in. But then again, guess what? It's going to cost you some money. So there's kind of a win-win situation when it comes down to that. So let me know what you guys want to hear when it comes down to your car, for sure.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it.
So we got Andrew here in the studio, and we got Zoe here today as well to give us our latest in sports news. Can't wait for that, but take it away, Andrew.
NBA YoungBoy announces new album, I Just Got a Lot on My Shoulders. NBA YoungBoy has announced a new album titled, I Just Got a Lot on My Shoulders. Sharing the cover artwork on Instagram, Sunday, he confirmed that the project will be dropping at some point in 2024, but didn't provide an exact date. In addition to fans sharing plenty of excitement and calls for him to drop the project, others commented on how frequently he's been releasing albums. You can never get tired of dropping, one fan wrote. Others were disappointed in the cover artwork. He just don't care no more his album covers even showing that, another user responded. The announcement of I Just Got a Lot on My Shoulders comes just under 2 weeks after putting out his latest album, Compliments of Gravedigger Mountain. Following the release of that project, YoungBoy listed his mansion in Salt Lake City, Utah for sale at $5.5 million. Outside of music, he's currently preparing for trial in the federal gun case for which he's been under house arrest for several years. The United States Attorney for the Middle District of Louisiana recently filed a motion claiming the rapper violated his pretrial release conditions. The undersigned has learned that the defendant has violated condition number 10 and has informed his supervising officer that he has no intentions to discontinue using the substance that resulted in the violation, they wrote.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for sure. Always. Now, and this is not my sleeper, by the way, but hey.
You're tuned in to new K.L.P.
What in the fuck? Hey. All right. Now I can't play that song too much, but we got to talk about this new single real quick. We got to talk about it. It's good. Could it be better? Yes. I think I can speak with some people. Some people might argue that this sounds familiar. This sounds like something that we've probably have already heard before. And shout out to Cardi, right? Shout out to Cardi because she's still hanging it. She's still, she's still rapping. She's still making music. But I gotta say, I feel like she rapped like this before. And I'm very critical on, and not just Cardi B, but for every female rapper, because we're setting this precedent when it comes down to female rappers where it's getting a little bit difficult. And when I say it's getting difficult, I'm hearing the same kind of thing. Right? When it comes down to music for me being a music lover myself as well, I look for artists who are creatively trying something new. And I gotta say, for this one, it doesn't seem like it's new. Sorry, Cardi, I have to say it. I don't see what's new about the lyrics and her tone and her rapping style. And I criticize her hard, but obviously I am a music artist myself, but Cardi B makes way more streams and money than I do. So I'll come out and say that for sure. But as a fan and as a music lover and as a podcaster and as a critic, I have to grade this. And I don't see any form of difference when it comes down to this. And this is what kind of worries me a little, because if you think about all the female MCs back in the day compared to now, I would prefer, of course, the female or the MCs back in the day, because they all tried something different with each song that they produced and wrote and made. Right? I feel like I've heard something similar to this from Cardi B before. Right? I don't know if it's just being the single and we're waiting on some new music from Cardi B. I hope there's new music coming from Cardi B, but I don't want it all to be the same. I don't. I want this to be different. I want to hear different when it comes to vocal range, rap verses, beat changes, something unique that we haven't say. So to make the people say, oh shit, Cardi has this new song and it doesn't sound like her typical boppy song she's been doing. This sounds different. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear when it comes down to it. I want to hear difference. And it's not just so much for Cardi, it's for Meg Thee Stallion. And I don't really want to say Nicki Minaj because she's been doing like a lot of different stuff. So I can't put her in that. But I do, and I can't really put Meg now because there's this new song called Hiss. I think that's the one that I listen to. It's a little different, but kind of the same, but a little bit different. But from Cardi B, I want to hear something different. Cardi, you got to go. You got to have music to make us say, oh shit, Cardi's back. In my opinion, I might be grading a little harshly. I know there's a lot of Cardi B fans out there. I get it, but I want something different. Right? Because if it's the same song that you've done, same sort of beat, but you changed the flow a little bit from your old song, there's nothing new. Right? I can hear people saying, okay, a lot. I can see that happening. That's your market. But what are you really saying? What are you saying to me? I do like what? End up the F word, right? I do like that part. That got me, that's got me smirked. But I got to see something different. I want to hear something different. A lot of people, the next question is, do the music videos, do they have to match the song? I wish that most music videos matched the actual song concept. I think this was based off the video. It's a great video, but it's like, I don't know, to me, it's a little bit all over the place, right? When it comes to scenery and direction of the video in comparison to the lyrics and the rap verses, which, you know, it costs money to make a music video. So I kind of give her leeway with that because it does cost a lot of money to make a music video and make it artistically look good, right? It's easy to do like a little camera shoot in the studio with a white background and lighting and boom, there you go. That's easier than actually going out and really spending some money on a music video, right? So I get that. Hey, I get it. I make movies and that's expensive, right? So I understand that concept, but I really wish that this music matched the video, and I was a little bit confused about that. But a lot of people, this has been the lingering question, do we think that music videos are dying? I hope not, but I think so. I think so because it's expensive, right? It's so expensive to make a music video, but it sucks that it's dying. Do I still watch music videos? Yes. The most music videos that I've watched lately was K-pop videos because they're just, they got budget for when it comes down to K-pop music videos. I love because they really put some art into it, right? So like I say, shout out to Cardi, man. Shout out to Cardi. But I want to see something different. I do. I want to see something different. I need to see something. I need to see something different. That's all I want to see. I want to see something that I haven't seen in a while when it comes down to Cardi B. That's just what I got to see. I got to see it. Now, of course, coming up next, we got Zoe with the latest in sports news. Take it away, Zoe.
March Madness is here. UConn, Purdue, Houston, and North Carolina get top seeding in NCAA tournament. Defending champion Connecticut, along with Houston, Purdue, and North Carolina, are the top seeds in a March Madness bracket that started going haywire even before the pairings came out Sunday. Of the 4 top seeds, only UConn heads into the tournament coming off a win. That played into the Huskies receiving the number 1 overall seed. The other 3 top seeds lost in their conference tournaments. Those were hardly the only surprises over the final weekend of hoops before the sport's main event hit center stage. Unexpected titles placed teams like Oregon, North Carolina State, and even Duquesne, none of whom were projected to make the field, into the field of 68 via the automatic bid that goes to conference champions. The teams they beat gobbled up a handful of the 34 at-large bids, thus shrinking the number of spots available to teams on the so-called bubble. It was one of the most difficult that I've been involved in, said Charles McClelland, the chairman of the selection committee. And I talked to some of the staff that's been in that room for the last 20 years, and they said this is probably the most difficult selection process that they've been a part of. The last teams included Colorado, Virginia, and, surprisingly, Boise State, which wasn't widely considered a bubble team. Those missing out included Oklahoma, St. John's, Pittsburgh, and Indiana State, all of whom were projected by many to make it as recently as Friday. Under normal circumstances, with those additional bids, they would have been in, McClellan said of Indiana State. The tournament starts Tuesday with 2 first-4 games, including a matchup between Virginia and a Colorado State team that few thought was on the bubble. The 32 first-round games take place Thursday and Friday. The Final Four is set for April 6th to 8th in Glendale, Arizona.
Thanks, Zoe. Appreciate it. As always, March Madness is here, guys. And college basketball, let me tell you. I be watching that on my ESPN app all the time. College basketball, especially the women's college basketball, right? They play it at the gym too. And I'm not a pervert. I'm not weird, right? But them women can play. Let's just be honest, right? They can play. They can. Now, before we wrap up the podcast, I got to talk about something juicy. Look, I like to talk about juiciness when it comes down to the podcast because you guys enjoy it, right? Now, I wanted to, and this is a open-ended question, but please do not respond because this is a juicy question that you can keep to yourself. You do not have to share this in our forum. Right? And I just thought it'd be interesting for me to talk about, but please do not respond to this question that I'm about to ask. Now, this question comes to the point of, Texas. We all know about the latest thing with Texas where they are banning Pornhub, right? They're banning Pornhub because of age verification. I'm going to go on record and say, kids should not be watching porn, obviously. Parents should also monitor what kids are watching on the internet. So I just want to get that out there on the air. I do not encourage or promote or advertise young kids watching porn. First and foremost. I had to get that out there, right? Because I don't want people to listen to this podcast and it gets misconstrued. Now, the open-ended question, again, it's a juicy topic. As I hit the mic here, juicy topic, but please do not respond. You don't have to respond. Don't out yourself. Question is, why do you still watch porn at your age? And this is for my adults, right? Next question probably is going to come to my fan base. Kennedy, do you watch porn? No. And I just hesitated for drama effect. No. Have I watched porn before? Yes. I think I don't encourage porn. I think every young adult, maybe teenagers, but I don't really encourage it. I think a lot of young adults watched it to experiment. Right? You probably experienced watching it simply because you want to know how to do a certain position. Honestly, and I'll go out and say this on record because I'm not afraid to say this. I think having sex is normal. I do. I think it's the normal human thing we can do as humans is sex. There's other normal things we can do, but sex is normal. I think a lot of people, when they hear porn and sex, they freak out. Certain people do. I don't, because I know it's normal, right? Humans attract. Animals attract. We are animals. We attract other animals. We attract each other. We attract other humans, right? You got it where the man attracts the woman attracts the man attracts the man, the woman attracts the woman. However you go by, gender or non-binary, we don't judge here on the podcast. We attract each other. That's just what we do. And I also got to think, hey, it's normal to have sex. I'm going to go on record and say safe sex is the best sex ever. Wrap it up. Because I tell y'all, for one thing, I am scared of STD and HIV. I'm scared of those stuff. Yeah, I'm scared. And thank God, when I be getting it in, hey, I'm staying safe with it. Wrapping it up, staying safe with it. I am good to go. I'm clean. So I'm going to go on record on this show and say, wrap it up, stay clean. Because it's rough out here. right? No one hasn't told me any stories about any diseases, but I hear the stories, I read the articles, and I watch the TV shows where when you pee and it burns and shit, that I'm terrified of that. I'm scared. But I think everybody have watched porn before. I think that is something that, to answer that question, why do you still watch porn at your age? Depending on your age, again, I don't encourage kids watching it, but if you're an adult and there's a question I ask, please don't put it in for, don't answer it. But people still watch it, young adults still watch it, simply because they want to know. For me, and I'll be honest, I'm transparent. When I've watched porn, I wanted to know what turned a woman on. What positions turn them on the best? Which position is the best position for it? Right? Something that's meaningful, something that I'm getting pleasure, she's getting pleasure, she's happy about it, I'm staying safe with it. Boom, there you go. That's education. Right? You don't know until you know. Until you watch some things, you learn some stuff, you don't know what you know until you watch and you know. I think it's normal. I think you shouldn't watch it. You should watch it by yourself. Like, you shouldn't watch it with friends, right? Look, I don't watch porn with my friends. Never have, never will. But I've seen stories and videos that people actually sit down with their friends and watch porn. I would feel so uncomfortable. I would feel so cringy. So uncomfortable. I would never, ever watch porn with my friends or family members. Never, ever. Never. But people do that, which is weird, but people do that in this world. This is a wicked world we live in, but people do that. I think if you do watch porn, again, don't answer this question, hey, I watch porn. Don't say that on this comments box. Please don't. But if you do watch it, make sure, number one, you're alone. Again, I'm saying for my adults, who's age appropriate to watch it. Watch it so if you don't understand something, watch it. And it's not just for me, it's not just porn. It's, I try to study my own body and what, bodies do. I try to understand the female body about giving birth and periods, because I want to know. I want to be well educated so that way when a situation happens, I know how to better prepare. Right? I've had it to where, I didn't understand periods at one point. I got educated. So that way I know how to firmly be professional about it, firmly be respectful about it, because I didn't know from a man's point of view. I didn't know about testosterone until I had to read about it. Right? So I think it's natural. I think people shouldn't feel so weird when don't announce that you watch it, obviously. But if you do watch it and you keep that your little secret, then hey, that's your little secret. We all got little secrets that we've done. We all have done some things that we like to keep quiet, and we probably gonna take it to the grave with us. That could be your secret. I say on this podcast, you shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be ashamed. Don't announce that you do it. Don't have a casual conversation about, hey, I watch porn. No, don't have a conversation about it. But I think it's a teachable moment. I think it's a teachable moment for those who's thinking about sex. Again, we're all grown, right? If you've grown and you're thinking about sex, just wrap it up. That's what your Uncle Lucas would say to you. Wrap it up. But if you want to know, because you don't know, seek that information. Right? I think I seek that information when I was a young adult and I watched it just to understand, because I too was in that shoes where I didn't really quite feel comfortable going to my dad and my brothers about it. Right? And when I say that, I mean that, having sex, what position is best. I would never ask my dad that. I would feel very uncomfortable to have that conversation with my dad. I would. I would have very uncomfortable conversations. I would feel very cringeworthy if I go to my big brother and say, hey, bro, how do you do this position? What's the missionary position? How you do it? I will feel very uncomfortable. It's not just because of my family members, but it's just something that I want to seek myself alone. Right? I know I'm a little bit weird when it comes to that kind of stuff. To answer that question, that's what I think why people watch it, to seek information, to understand what it is that they should do or try to see if it works. Right? Because no matter who you're getting down with, you can get down with, a girl, a guy, whomever. You want to make sure it's meaningful, right? If you go in and you go in and you're doing a position that may not be pleasurable, it may not feel good, then now you look at your partner looking at it like, damn, you don't know how to have sex? Good Lord. And it's not just a funny thing, but it's funny, right? You want to get well educated is what I'm saying. If I get anything out from this conversation is I think people go and still watch it just to see what it's about, honestly. So I think it's a normal reoccurrence, it's a normal thing. But again, don't announce it. Don't watch porn on any work computer or any work phone. Do not do that. Do it on your own personal. Have a private server too, a private proxy server. A VPN, right? Not a sponsor, but get a free VPN so that way they don't track that stuff. But to each his own. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. Pun intended. Wrap it up, gentlemen. That new Don Tolliver. Well, I don't know. I don't know if this one's new, but this is called Bandit.
This beat is dope.
Hey. Thank y'all for staying tuned for the podcast, K.L.P in the morning. Hopefully you had a meaningful conversation. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this one as much as I did. Good morning. Have a great, fantastic rest of your Monday, folks. Everybody out there, work hard for the money, work hard for the week. Spring is here, pretty much here. I washed my car this past weekend. I still see the pollen. We love y'all so much, and we out. K.L.P in the morning. Your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. We'll catch y'all in the next podcast.